How good are you at managing money? Hey everyone, my name is Simon Payne. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Pop-Up Business School. Since 2012, we've trained over 7,000 people in 5 countries, helping them get their small business ideas and self-employed ideas started off the ground to sustain good small businesses. So, this video is all about money management techniques, because if we can get better at money management, you will run a more successful business. I have 10 tips for you on how to manage your money better as a self-employed person or at running a small business, even if it's a side hustle. So here we go. Here's tip number 1. Tip number 1 is about selling. Your focus needs to be on sales. Otherwise, you won't have any money to manage. So all of your activity, especially in the early days of business, should be promote, 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 sell, sell, sell. Make as much money as you can, as quickly as you can. That will help you become a more powerful business. Tip number 2 is all about what you're actually going to do with that money. Now, here's what we're going to say to you. And lots of experienced self-employed people will have heard of this tip. This is about saying for every pound that you make, you put 20 pence aside. So this is about saying 20% of your profit, stick it in a bank account, at one that you can't access very easily, and then that becomes your savings plan to pay your tax when it comes time to pay your tax bill. Because when you work for somebody else, obviously your income tax is dealt with at source, so you never actually get that money, it's deducted from your pay. But when you're self-employed, you need to make sure that you've got enough money set aside so that you can pay tax when it comes time to get your tax bill. So put 20% of your profits aside in a bank account you can't easily access. Tip number 3 is all about writing down what you spend. Keep a monthly record of everything that you spend on your business. All of your expenses should be in a list on a monthly basis. Teas, coffees, bus fares, anything that you've spent in relation to your business. Now you can claim a proportion of your rent, your electricity bill, your water bill, your broadband, your mobile phone. You may be eligible to claim some of those expenses as a business expense if you can prove that the spending of that money is in relation to your business. Now, what does that actually mean? This means that when you make £500 profit, you then look at how much of your expenses can you claim back from that £500. By writing down what you spend, you can reduce your tax liability. Basically, this means as a self-employed person, you get to keep more of the money you make than if you were employed by somebody else. And the next tip number 4, is linked to this. Keep your receipts. I want you to imagine that every receipt that you get from something that you've spent, whether it's a parking ticket, or teas and coffees, if you've taken a customer out for a cuppa, for a meeting, that becomes a business expense. So you keep the receipt. See that receipt as banknotes. Imagine it's a £10 or a £20 note, because that means money to you. So by keeping your receipts, you can prove that any of your expenses are business expenses. This will help you pay less tax in the long run. Tip number 5 is just as important. It's linked to writing things down. Keep a record of everything you sell, again on a monthly basis, and also who you sell it to. This will be super useful in the future if you want to go back and contact your customers and ask them to buy something from you again, but also this helps you prove your sales. So keep a record, a monthly record of everything that you sell. This is going to help you calculate your profit. Tip number 6 is to do little and often. So, instead of waiting to the end of the year to get all your accounts together, this is a mistake that so many self-employed people and small businesses make. I used to do it myself. Set aside some time every single week, just half an hour a week, just to keep your accounts in order. Make sure you've written down everything that you spend, everything that you make, and you've got all of your receipts too. Because then when it comes to the end of the year, and you need to submit a tax return at the end of the year, what happens is you've got all of your records ready. So then all you need to do is to fill in the boxes. You don't have to faff around with spreadsheets, with bits of paper and receipts. Tip number seven. Tip number seven is all about taking deposits, taking money in advance from your customers. Now, in an ideal world, we would get paid in full up front. Now, it does depend a little bit on what you're selling and who you're selling it to. At the very least, all of us, even for a service business, should be taking money up front from our customers. Now, it could be a deposit, it could be 50% in advance, and the remaining 50% once you've delivered what it is that you're selling. But by taking deposits, you're getting commitment from your customers that they are actually serious about buying from you. It prevents them from changing their mind later, or at least it insures you against them changing their mind. So if you've been paid in advance and the customer changes their mind, then you've got the money and you haven't lost out. Tip number 8 is about where you put your money. Now, my best advice would be this. Open a free current account, a separate account, so that you can keep your business income separate from your life income. Otherwise, it gets a bit messy. You know, the account which you use for your personal life, for groceries, for rent and mortgage, or, you know, bills and so on, let's keep that on its own in one place. Open a separate current account. It doesn't need to be a business account, okay? Unless you're a limited company, which is the rules in the UK. You need to have a business bank account if you're a limited company. If you are a sole trader, if you're self-employed, you don't need a business account. If it was me, I would turn to one of the app-based new banks, and you can jump on your phone, set up a new account within less than an hour and get your new bank account ready. They'll send you a card in the post, and then you can tell your customers to pay you into that account. That keeps your business money separate from the money that comes in and out of your personal current account. Tip number 9 is pay tax. Okay, now tax is a good thing. You're going to be taxed in a couple of ways. You're going to be taxed on your income, but not if you earn less than £12,500. At the time that this video is made, you can earn up to £12,500 and you won't owe any income tax. It's still really good practice to put 20% of your profits aside in case you go over the tax threshold, but also you may be liable for a national insurance payment as well as part of your tax contribution to the UK. Now, tax is good. Why? Because it means you've made a profit. But what we don't want to do is to pay too much tax. So some of the earlier tips in this video about writing down what you sell and what you make will help reduce the tax bill so that you're only paying what you owe. Final tip, tip number 10, is to remain frugal. It's going to be tempting as your business gets more successful and you get the cash in to start spending some of that money. But my best advice to you is this: keep your spending as low as you possibly can. Continue to borrow, to barter, to get things for free, to get paid in advance so that you can keep as much of the money as you make. Becoming a saving business means that if you have a rough month or 2 or 3, or there's a difficult economic climate and difficult trading times, you've got enough money in the bank to see you through the bumpy times. Best of luck with your business. Not that you need it, because I know you're going to work hard. These are our money management tips for small business owners and self-employed people to help them manage their money better in their business.